The Ukrainian city of Pokrovsk is in crisis. Russian forces are advancing, now within a mere 5 miles. This has triggered a mass exodus. A mandatory evacuation order is in effect. The most vulnerable are prioritized children, families, the elderly, and those with disabilities. They are urged to leave immediately, taking only essentials. Many residents rely on aid organizations like East SOS and Doctors Without Borders. These groups provide crucial assistance, helping people escape the looming danger. The evacuation efforts are focused on trains. These offer a lifeline out of the city. Many evacuees head towards Dnipro, seeking refuge in safer regions further west in Ukraine. At the train station, medical teams work tirelessly. They provide essential care to evacuees, many suffering from chronic health conditions exacerbated by the ordeal. The stories of those fleeing, like 83-year-old Raisa Epstein, are harrowing. Pokrovsk is a crucial transport hub in eastern Ukraine. It is now on the front lines of the conflict. The city is being pounded by shelling and airstrikes. The damage is extensive and growing worse by the day. The situation grows more desperate as Russian forces close in. The sounds of fighting are now audible even in the city center. Residents seek shelter in basements and makeshift bunkers. Humanitarian organizations like Doctors Without Borders are working around the clock. They provide medical aid and support to those affected by the conflict. MSF teams are a visible presence at the train station. They offer medical consultations, distribute essential supplies, and assist with medical evacuations for those in critical condition. The organization is also supporting the last functioning civilian hospital in Pokrovsk.
The evacuation of Pokrovsk is a logistical nightmare. The emotional toll on those fleeing their homes adds another layer of complexity. Many residents delayed their departure until the last moment. They clung to the hope that the fighting would subside. However, as the situation deteriorated, they were forced to make an agonizing decision. They had to abandon their belongings and seek safety elsewhere.
Finding transportation and securing safe passage is a daunting task, even for those who can afford to leave. The roads leading out of the city are choked with traffic. Public transportation is overwhelmed by the sheer number of people trying to flee. This has created fertile ground for exploitation. Some individuals and groups are charging exorbitant fees for transportation and accommodation. Many elderly and disabled residents are trapped, unable to evacuate on their own.
Pokrovsk occupies a strategic position in eastern Ukraine. It is a vital transportation hub connecting various parts of the region. Its capture would be a significant victory for Russian forces. It would give them control over key supply lines and allow them to further advance their offensive. Russian forces have been subjecting the city to relentless bombardment in an attempt to seize control. Ukrainian forces are determined to hold the city. They recognize its strategic significance in repelling the Russian advance. They have dug in around Pokrovsk, setting up defensive positions and preparing for a protracted battle. The Ukrainian government has appealed to international allies for increased military support. They need to bolster their defenses and counter the Russian offensive. Despite the Ukrainian resistance, the situation in Pokrovsk remains precarious.
Despite facing a formidable enemy and suffering significant losses, Ukrainian forces have shown remarkable determination and resilience. In Pokrovsk, they are putting up fierce resistance against the advancing Russian troops. They are inflicting casualties and slowing down the enemy's progress. Ukrainian soldiers and volunteers are fighting street by street. They are using their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage. President Volodymyr Zelensky has emerged as a symbol of Ukrainian defiance. He has rallied his people and galvanized international support for his country's plight. He has repeatedly called on the international community to provide Ukraine with more advanced weaponry and to impose tougher sanctions on Russia. Zelensky's unwavering resolve has been instrumental in maintaining morale and bolstering Ukrainian resistance.
The world watches as Pokrovsk teeters on the brink. President Zelensky has used this moment to issue a heartfelt plea. He is calling on the global community to take concrete action. He emphasizes the need for increased military aid. Ukraine needs more advanced weaponry to effectively counter the Russian offensive.
He is also pushing for tougher sanctions against Russia. These sanctions, he argues, are crucial to cripple the Russian war machine and force them to reconsider their aggression. Zelensky stresses the importance of humanitarian aid.
As the conflict in eastern Ukraine rages on, the future of Pokrovsk hangs in the balance. The city, once a bustling hub, now stands on the brink. Its fate is uncertain as the fighting intensifies. The outcome of the battle for Pokrovsk will have a profound impact on the lives of its residents. Many have already lost everything.
For those who have managed to escape, the journey to safety is just the beginning. They face a long and arduous road to rebuilding their lives. Displaced from their homes and communities, they grapple with trauma, loss, and the challenges of starting anew. The war has left an indelible mark on their lives, and its consequences will continue to be felt for generations to come.